Hello everyone. So I will show you my code. So this is my VS Code and I have script.js and index.html and I am learning Three.js. So this is the website and in localhost this is how it looks. And if I reload it, simply this happens and I will just try to explain whatever I have mentioned in my script.js. So till now I have learned a few things related to Three.js, and there are a lot of things which I want to share. But the for as per this code, I will share some basic things. And so let's start with the requirement, the basic requirement we need in our website when we are using Three.js. So basically, we use it for adding 3D stuff in our website and use it like object model. So first thing we need a scene, then we need a object, and then we need camera, then we need renderer. And scene we add in a canvas. So suppose you want to paint something. So first thing you might need a sheet, then you might need a like a square box that this is the area where you want to, you know, design or draw the face. Then comes the object. You want to add a square, cube, anything. Then comes your eyes. So we have to add the camera because the software world is big, and what we exactly want to show, what exactly part we want to present to the user, we must define it, and camera helps us to capture that part only, and then renderer. So in this page, whatever I have added, I will try to explain. So first of all, I have added imported three. So I imported like this, but I guess I have seen at some some places that they use capital, but it's working for now. So I'll just continue. Let's skip this G sharp. I will talk about it. But here we have canvas. We are using JS to just select the canvas with class WebGL. If we go back to index.html, we have this canvas and the class WebGL. Next thing, as I mentioned, we have a scene, we have a sheet. So canvas, and then in the canvas we are putting the scene. Okay, so canvas is a sheet, sorry, not the scene, and scene we are creating in the canvas. Then we have geometry. So I have used box geometry, and then we have material. So you will learn about various types of materials if you start learning about Three.js. But here I have used basic material with the color. We have to define color in, like we can define in various ways. Like we can use string. So if you put color and then in the string form you put red, you will get the color. We will talk about it. And then we have mesh. In the mesh, we are adding the geometry and material. So mesh is what? It is like if you saw a cube in a 3D world, you will think that okay, this must have some geometry like sided like vertex and edges and points, you know. And then if you are able to see some color, then there's some outer layer or outer appearance, and that is represented by material of that object we are trying to create in our 3D world. Then we have the position and scale. So position, we will talk about axis and other things, but for now, everything is on center. Like if you try to load, everything comes at the center of the scene, and we have to add the position. So X, Y, Z. So let's go back to the site. So Y in the Three.js, Y is this up and down. X is this direction, the horizontal one. Y is vertical, and Z is towards this screen, and like farther from the screen is represented by Z. So here I have just added the mesh with the Y position 0.7. Then we have rotation. So rotation also happens. Um So let's see, this is y-axis, this is the cube. Okay, if we say that it is rotating in the y-axis, then we have to think that a rod is here, which is representing y-axis, and now the cube is rounding, like swirling around it, and the axis is y. We will explain it. We will try to create animation, and then, you know, we take example and rotation. So let's move ahead. We will not add any code. I will just try to explain whatever I have added till now so that I understand what I had done. Next thing is, this is the reorder. So suppose you have then Y then Z rotation in your scene. So it just reorders. Mm, mm, mm. Then we have math.py. So it's like half of the rotation. Like you will use math.py a lot in three.js, and uh, suppose there's rotation that takes full circle, half circle. So math.py is that pi value, and somehow it helps us to rotate half of the area we want to cover. I'm not sure about it actually. Then we are adding the mesh in our scene. So scene is like scene, and we are adding mesh, camera, everything on. Then we have access helper. So access helper is these lines which we are adding in our scene to understand and to just, understand which direction we are gonna work on. It's like helper. Then we are adding sizes, width and height. So this is the height we will use, I guess. So this is the size, and here's a camera. Okay, here comes the camera. So there are two types camera, orthographic and perspective. Perspective camera is like real world kind of. The farther you are, smaller it will look. The nearer you are, bigger it will look. And so in this, it takes three values, and this was like like angle field of view. So suppose you have a cone shape, you are eating ice cream and you have a cone, so you put it near to your eyes, one end, the smaller end, and then the area you see is field of view for you. uh you are using that cone. How to represent it? Okay, leave it. Then we are just putting the sizes, width and height, and then dividing it to just, I don't know. Okay, then we have camera.position.z equals to 3. So we are having camera, and then we are adjusting the position because everything is on center when it all started. So we have to, put ourselves backward and then check the object. Then we are adding it the scene. So you have to add everything in the scene, and then scene goes back to renderer, and then canvas render it. We will see. And then we have another things like okay, wait. The next thing we have is look at. So it's just if you mention the any mesh or any object, it just focuses on it. Next thing we have group. We can skip this for now because group is like grouping objects and then adding qualities. Suppose you have three cubes, you can group them together and then add basic material for that group, and all the cubes will have that same material. Let's go down here, and we have some GSAP stuff, and then we are rendering using renderer dot render scene camera, and this renderer comes from WebGL renderer here. And I guess I should have used some another code to explain everything, but I was working on something, and this is what I learned till now. So I just tried to revise it and tried to explain it, and I realized that I have missed a lot of things, but still it's going good. And I am also learning Blender, so I will try to share more so that I can I can just explain things more to myself. Thank you. Bye.